If you're making offers on homes and losing, it's probably not the price. Let me tell you exactly what's happening. My name is Luisa and here are my credentials. I've been a real estate broker in North Carolina and New Jersey for over 17 years. And in my experience, I've learned a thing or two about what sellers are looking for when they accept an offer. First of all, let's talk about what an offer or a contract is. Basically, it's made out of an offering and contingencies. The contingencies we usually see in New Jersey are attorney review, which is when an offer or a contract is accepted and the attorneys basically review and make changes to that contract. Next, we have inspections, mortgage, and title. Then we're ready to close. Let's talk about what not to do when you're making an offer that you actually want to get accepted. First of all, you may be asking for too many inspections. Now, granted, you could do all the inspections you want, but when you put in too many inspections in your offer, the seller is going to think that you're going to nitpick every single thing about the house, and it's going to be a headache to move forward with you. Next, let's talk about terms. And terms could be like how long you're going to use inspection contingency, how long you're going to take to do your mortgage, what those contingencies look like. Next is when you're too slow to make an offer. A lot of my clients want to think about it, and in a competitive market, you just don't have the luxury to do that. You have to make sure that you're confident in knowing what you want and how much you're willing to pay, and your agent should be helping you along that path. By the time you're thinking about it, somebody else is coming in with a strong offer, and your offer will never be seen. The last is having no plan. If your agent cannot help you with a strategy to actually get the home, you may consider getting a new one. Here are the things that you do want to do in your offer. First of all, your agent should be asking for what terms is more favorable for the seller. And these things could vary between limited inspections, price, or even how long to closing. There might be times when a seller wants to stay in the home until they find a new home, or if they need to move quickly, they just want a 30-day, 45-day close. Asking what those terms are is really important too, because you want to know what is motivating the seller to make the decision to move. If you can make your offer meet those terms, you are one step closer in getting your offer accepted. The next one is getting clean offers. So many times as the listing agent, I'm getting offers that are just missing information. They're missing prices and terms. They're missing addendums that are important for the buyer to review in order to make the choice of moving forward with the offer. And when these things happen, I'm more likely to tell my seller to move on. The last thing is to reduce the risk. And that comes back to all of the contingencies built into the offer. You want to make sure that while you're being protected, you're giving the seller the benefit of having the less struggles to get to closing. And how do you accomplish these things? Bottom line, it comes down to strategy. And your agent should be able to give you a strategy for each property, which could be different because the seller's motivation might change. So what you want to do is make sure that you meet those desired terms that the seller was able to give you. So if they want to take the offer that has the highest price, or if they want you to waive the appraisal, or if they want a longer term for closing, those things should be included in your offer in order to get the best chances of winning. Next, you want to limit contingencies, whether that's inspections or, like I said before, appraisals. A lot of clients or a lot of buyers are a little bit afraid to limit their inspections, but I just want to let you know that when you limit inspections, what you're actually saying is that you're going to reduce the amount of items that you want the seller to repair. Sometimes I'll have buyers limit their inspections to structural, environmental, and mechanical issues. So if the HVAC is broken or if there's a hole in the roof, those things need to be addressed. However, a crack on the floor tile may not be as important, and buyers could still do all the inspections that they want to do. This just limits what they're asking the seller to fix. And when sellers see that the buyers are serious and they're going to only ask them about important items, they're more likely to choose your offer. Next, we'll talk about escalation clauses, and we'll go more in depth as to what that is and how to get a strategy to win with an escalation clause. But basically, what an escalation clause is that you're going to give the seller a price and offer to increase that price by whatever increment you feel comfortable with, whether that's $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. And basically, what's going to happen is that your offer is going to increase from the highest offer to that number. So let's say that the house is priced at $450, you offer $460 plus a $5,000 escalation clause. The higher offer that they received is $480, so you win the house at $485. This kind of gives you a little bit more flexibility in pricing when we don't know what the other offers look like. And the last one is the closing timeline. And this could be shorter or longer depending on what the seller wants. If the seller is building a house, for example, and is due to be done in 3 months, you want to give them the flexibility. They have to extend a month or two, that you're okay with that. So the more flexible that the buyer is, the more likely you are to get the house.